Hi, welcome. So, welcome to today's video. So, in this video, this is the last video I'm going to drop for the day regarding e-commerce. So, in this video, we are going to solve questions, practical. We are going to solve questions, not practical questions, likely examinable questions, so that we wouldn't have problems when we are going to answer when we are going to write our exams. So I'll just go. Let me just jump straight into the video. But before that, I want to apologize for yesterday's live stream. It was my first time going live, and I had a lot of difficulties trying to handle everything. But I'll learn from my mistakes, and then the next time I'll go live, I hope to do a better job. All right. So starting with the first question, it says, "What are some issues in implementing electronic commerce?" So I'm going to type here on the screen issues in implementing electronic commerce. Or e-commerce. Simply put it as e-commerce. So what are some of the issues you experience when you're trying to implement e-commerce? There are lots of issues. Some issues, there are issues such as cost and other things, you see. But let's go. The first point we'll have under this is cost. When you are trying to build an e-commerce website, trying to bring it into existence, you face a lot of issues because you have to build the website. You have to look for someone. If it's an application, you have to look for someone to build it for you. They also take a lot of money for that. Yeah. So cost is quite expensive, and you have to be buying data so that you can be able to see what's going on, because you need internet connection. And then the second thing is value. You have to have a value. What you are doing has to be valuable. The e-commerce or the shop or whatever you are doing, it has to be valuable. You have to be putting out good content. Whatever you are bringing out there, you are showing it to the customer. The customer is not seeing it physical, so you have to make it valuable to the customer so that the customer will be like, oh, okay, this thing, I think it's exactly how it looks like, then I'll go, so I'm going to get it. If it's not valuable, no one will come for it. And then another point is security. With the security, you see, if I buy something from your shop, and then I later get frauded, after maybe I buy just one thing the whole week, I buy just one thing from your shop, and after some time I realize that the money in my credit card keeps on reducing. Someone is using it with me, but the only thing I've bought using that credit card was from your website. So what's the first thing that will come into my mind? Oh, okay, so your website is not secure. So when I bought, someone has access to my credit card information. The person is using it with me, so I wouldn't even come and buy from you. So it's a serious issue because you have to put out security measures to prevent people from doing all these things, from trying to get people's credit card details, from trying to fraud people using your platform. So you have to put out security measures to prevent these things from happening. And security is very difficult. It's a tedious task to do. So most people doing e-commerce and things, they have a lot of problems with security, and it works along with trust as well. And then let's say another point is leveraging existing systems. So what do you mean by leveraging existing systems? So you are building an e-commerce platform. What you are building is already in the system. Someone has done it. You see, it's nothing new. Someone has done it. So the question is, what can you do in addition to yours to make people not use what are there, but rather come and use yours? That one is a problem. And trying to find something of that sort is also a difficult task to do. So, for instance, Amazon is there and then Jumia is coming. Jumia will be like, okay, so what can I do? What can I implement to make people come and buy at my place instead of going to Amazon? So this time is leveraging over Amazon. It's like using Amazon as you look at Amazon and then bring out something better than Amazon. And it's very difficult. It's very, very, very difficult. You have to always think outside the box, and you have to be smart and creative. And then another thing is interoperability. If you are trying to or you are trying to start an e-commerce platform or something, and then you want to take payments. You are taking direct payments from the website, right? You have to connect the websites to paying platforms. Some of the paying platforms can be mobile money wallets and things. And before these mobile money agencies, before they will give you their API, as in like their source code, so that you can be able to like put the pay via mobile money on your platform. Before they give it to you, you have to provide them documents about your business and like a lot of things, and you have to operate with them. You have to you have to cooperate with them. They have to make sure that you're a legit person before they give you all the things you need, all the source code, so that like someone can make payments using the mobile money. And then sometimes to linking other platforms that you already have to your website or whatever, to the main one, it's quite a task to do. And like going to check, someone will DM you, and the person will be like, how much is this on another social media platform, because the person found your social media platform on the e-commerce platform. So it's very, very difficult. All these things makes like the job extremely difficult. Now let's move to the next question. The next question is, what is payment? What is payment gateway? Payment gateway. I'll put it in a very simple way. Payment gateway is a network through which your customers transfer funds to you. It's very, very simple. It's a network through which your customers, if you have a e-commerce platform, payment gateway is a network through which your customers transfer funds, money, or tokens or whatever to you, depending on what you're asking for. But mostly it's funds, it's money. So let me type that so that you see it, and then it goes into your memory. So payment gateway is a pardon my typing, I'm still a beginner. It's a network through which your customers transfer funds to you. It's as simple as, it's very, very simple. Payment gateway is just a network. It's a network that's your customers use to transfer funds to you. Let's go to the next question. That one is self-explanatory. It's very, very simple. The next question is, how does payment gateway works? How does payment gateway works? How does payment how does it work? So with the payments gateway, the customer enters their payment information. You see, so like the first thing is the customer has to enter their payment information and place an order which will be processed. So before, you see, when you are buying something online, you have to place an order before you can like pay. You cannot just go and pay. You cannot pay if you have not placed any order. If the pay button will even be disabled, you can't click it. So you have to place an order, and then when you place your order will be processed, and then you will pay. But this time you pay in the form of like your card not being present. So you see, sometimes when you go to certain places or when you watch some movies, they swipe the card in the device, and then that's when they make their payments. But this time they cannot bring the device straight to you to your home to swipe it, because both of you are at different places. So they take the information of your credit card and then they process the payments. So the first thing for the person to do is, the first step is that the customer has to make an order and provide the information of their card. So you make the order and then provide the information of your card. You see, so the first step, customer enters customer makes an order. Customer makes an order and what is going on, and provides details of a card. So that's the first thing for processing. Now what's the second step? So this is the first step. I'm trying to like simplify everything so that we don't forget certain things. So after you provide, the details of your card, the next thing that has to happen is the information that you have provided has to be sent to the payments processor. It has to be sent to the payments. It's a network. I told you that the payments gateway is a network. So a network, you definitely have a processing unit and things. So the payment information that you've provided after you've entered the details, it has to be sent to the processor. So how does it have to be sent? Because someone can wiretap it and see the credit card details. So you have to encrypt the information. So the encrypted information is sent to the payment processor being used by the merchant. That is assuming I'm the merchant and you are the buyer. If I'm using, let's say I'm using Prudential Bank, like that, I'm using the assistant like pay, because I'm using Prudential Bank. So if you send your credit card details to me, I will send it will go to the Prudential's, their network, their payments processor, and then it will be used by them to like process your payments. You get it? It's very simple. So the next thing you have to do is to send an encrypted information of your payments is sent to a payment processor to be used for transaction processing the transaction. So encrypted information is sent to the payments processor. Okay, so the payments processor, so that it can be used by the merchants. Let me go to the next line so that you'll be able to see everything. Used by the merchants. So it's very simple. Now there are only 5 steps in general, so we are the third step. So after the encrypted information has been sent to the payment processor, what next? The payment processor sends the transaction to the customer's credit card association, which charges an interchange fee for the transaction. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. They have to process the payment. They have to charge you for you see when you send money from some mobile money, when you send money, they take the charges and things. That's the same way this one, will take charges. So the payment processor sends so the payment will be sent to your, if you are using MTN, the payment will be sent to MTN for them to like process your payments and things. So that's like one step. If you are, depending on the bank you are using, the payments processor will send the transaction to the bank. So I can be using a different bank and still take payments from you. So the payment transaction will send the transaction to the bank that you are using, so that they can process your payments, and then they will charge you for like interoperability. Like, did I say interoperability? For like interchange, because you are two different banks are working. That's why there's a minimum charge, sometimes no charge when it's like the same bank. When like both of you are using the same bank, I think. So the next step is if the card is valid, then if the card is valid and has enough funds to cover the purchase, there are no holds or no freezes on the card, and the transaction is approved. So if the card is valid, the transaction will be approved. You get it? So that's the next step. If the card is valid, the transaction then goes on to be approved. It's very simple. Now, what's the last step? The last step is also simple. The transaction is authorized, and this information is sent back through the chain in reverse. So, however this happened, it will just reverse and go back. You see, so you receive a receipt or something. Yeah, so the transaction, I'm trying to make things like as simple as possible. I'm not trying to explain anything so that I'll confuse you or anything. I'm just trying to make things very, very simple. So I wrote everything down. So I'm, looking from a book and writing for you, typing it for you. It's sent back through the chain in reverse. It's very simple. Now, in case you are wondering what the reverse procedure is, the reverse procedure is payments processor to payments gateway and then online store. So let me put it here. The reverse procedure, payments processor to payment gateway to online store. It's as simple as that. Very, very simple. So that's all. So after within 24 hours or 48 hours, the customer's payment will appear in the merchant's accounts. You get it? So it's very, very simple. Now, what's the next question? Let's move on to the next question. The next question says, discuss any four traditional type of e-commerce. So traditional types of e-commerce. Traditional types of e-commerce. I checked Google and other sources, and they all giving me the same thing. So in this case, the traditional types of e-commerce happens to be the business to business, customer to customer, business to administration, business to customer. Those are the traditional types of e-commerce. Yeah. So the first one is business. You can mix it up. You can write business to business. I'm going to use short. This one will stand for business to business, and customer to customer, and business to customer. Business to customer, and then let's say customer to administration, or let's do business to administration. 4 is business to administration. I'm not going to let me explain the business to administration because that one is a bit confusing. The business to administration, that one just involves business between a business and then a government. The government, for instance. So maybe you are about to start a business and you want to know the laws governing certain things concerning the business you're about to start. What do? You go to a site which has laws regarding taxes and other things. You just go there and go and look at, okay, so I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to go here and do this, I'm supposed to pay tax to this company and things. And then that information that is being placed there is placed by the government. So right now you are dealing with the government. So you as a business entity are dealing with the government. So that type of transaction is business to administration. Your payment of tax is business to administration transaction. Everything regarding the law and it's online is business to administration. It's very simple. Now let's move on to the next question. The next question says briefly outline 4 steps in preventing credit card frauds. So I'm going to type 4 steps in preventing credit card fraud. 4 steps in preventing credit card fraud. What's the first thing? The first thing is to keep the login details secured. Encryption. Don't forget encryption. Just remember the word encryption. So keep the login details secured. Or you can also say keep the credit card details or payments details secured. Let's go with the credit card details, because payment details can be like transaction details and things. So keep the credit card details secured. I'll put encryption in quotes so that in case you forget and remember the word encryption, then you will remember. Now the next thing you have to do, then another thing is you have to be aware of phishing. What is phishing? Phishing is like they would look for things that you are interested in, so that you click on them and things, and then they'll send it to a site and be like, okay, so you want to do this, so pay this. Maybe they monitor you and they realize you are interested in cats, so they are like, okay, so donate this amount of money so that a cat center will be open to take care of like homeless cats and things. So when you try to send the money, then they take your credit card. You use your credit card to send the money to them, but it's not encrypted. So like whatever you're typing, they will see it, and then they'll get the details of your credit card, and then they will also be able to use your credit card to, buy things. So that's a beware of phishing. Just beware. Don't be following random sites to go and look at things. So another point is beware of phishing. The phishing is spelled this way. It's not F. It's PH. Phishing. And another step is set a pay limit. You see, MTN and other, networks, telecommunication networks in Ghana, so with their mobile money, they don't allow you to withdraw a certain amount or exceed the withdrawal of a certain amount or send more than a certain amount to someone. They restrict you to, I think it's 2,000 Ghana cedis. So you can only do a transaction like of 2,000 Ghana cedis in a day. The reason why they do that is so that they reduce the damage done, assuming someone is to get the details of someone. So if someone gets the details of the credit card, if you have set a pay limit on the website, because of the pay limit you have set, the person can only spend a certain amount, maybe a certain amount, which might be big, but it's not all the money on the credit card, and it's better. You've reduced the damage, and then the owner of the credit card can see it and work towards it and get it fixed. So that's the thing. Then another thing is identify scheming. Scheming in the sense as in you are inputting your credit card information, and like someone is monitoring you, or someone has access to your browser or your webcam, and the person is monitoring you or something, or like the person is indirectly taking your details from you without your knowledge. So that's how I'm going to explain scheming. It has a little more to it, but I'm just going to explain it like this so that I don't get you confused. So like maybe someone just taking your credit card information without your details, your knowledge. Yeah, so that's just scheming. And then pay from mobile wallets. When you pay from mobile wallets, as I said earlier, the telecommunication networks in this country, before you set up a business and things, they make sure like your business is legit, you have documents and everything, and then you are not a fraud before they give you the API to be able to use their technology on your page. So if you see a business deal and then like pay with mobile money, then it has a higher possibility of being extremely legit and you are free from fraud and things. Yeah, so that's what's it. And yeah, pay for mobile wallets. I said we should state 4, but I stated 5. Just in case. Now the next thing is describe advantages. Another question. Yes. Describe at least 5 advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. So we are going to, I'm just going to state them so that you describe them yourself. So you are going to go with advantages first. So advantages of e-commerce. Advantages of e-commerce. What's the first advantage? The first thing I'll say is there's faster buying process. This one I'm going to like go through them rapidly. Faster buying process. When you are buying, it's fast. You don't have to wait for someone to finish buying before you buy. As just like when you go to a shop in front of your house and you're going to buy something, there are 4 people. They have to wait for the 4 people to be served before you be served, unless you have connection. And then the second thing is cost reduction. Cost reduction. When you are dealing with like online shops, you don't have to physically build shops and have a like core employees to come and help them put the things on shelves, sweep the place. No. You just build your website and then maybe you just find a place to put the things and you are good to go. So you've reduced costs. And another thing is product and price comparison in terms of the buyer side. So if I'm going to buy something and I see the price on your platform and I see that the price you are putting there is outrageous, I'll just okay, no problem. I'll leave it and go and check another place and see if I can find someone who's on is a bit cheaper compared to yours. And if the person's one is a bit cheaper and the person is also legit, so why won't I buy from the person? It's as simple as that. And another advantage is response. There's faster response to buyer demands. There is faster response to buyer demands in the sense that when assuming there are a lot of people buying this, I'm using the same instance in terms of like the physical shop. If there are a lot of people buying, you see the one selling has to like take care of everyone one by one, and then the person is not a human, it's not a machine, so the person cannot it's not a processor. The person cannot process all of you at once. He has to take off you one at a time. But if it's online, all of you, this will come through at once, and then he can push the information to the processor, so you can take multiple payments at the same time and things. So the response to buyers' demands is fast. You can allow delivery at a faster pace and things. It's very simple. And then it's the flexibility for customers. Online shopping, e-commerce is like the intention of e-commerce was just to satisfy customers. You see, you the buyer, you have a few advantages, but the main thing is to look at the customers. They buy from the comfortability of their home. If you are not giving them what they want, all they have to do is just a click away. They just go away and go and look for another place, to get what they want. And then another advantage is affordable marketing and advertising. You already have a platform. You are trying to open another platform. You just you advertise on your same platform. You advertise on social media, other platforms, other e-commerce platforms who are into advertisements, instead of like going to television stations and paying a huge sums of money for your product to advertise. And you just do it on the social media, which some might be free and then some might just take a little money to advertise your products for you. So affordable advertisements. Let's go to disadvantages. So with the disadvantages of e-commerce, there are not so many disadvantages, but this I try to make them self-explanatory. So no one can buy during a site crash. I'm just going to leave it like that so that you remember. The intention of what I'm doing is to help us remember when we are going to write, because there's no time for us to like chew a lot of things. So no one can buy during a site crash. In the sense that for instance, you are hosting your platform on a certain server somewhere. That's got nothing to do with you. You just host it and you pay what you are supposed to pay, which is extremely small. Sometimes I think 10 cedis a month, depending on where you are hosting at. So if there something happens over there, and then there's a technical technical difficulties or something, and the server goes down, that means you cannot get customers. So that's one disadvantage. For that moment, you wouldn't be able to get customers, and you cannot explain to customers that, oh, this over the internet. No, if they come and you're not there, they'll go and look for another person. So that's one disadvantage. Another disadvantage is that customers cannot try before buying. I'm sure most of us have experienced this before. You see something online, oh yeah, you see, oh, I like this shoe, I like this shoe. You buy it, it will come. Then it's a shoe for like, I don't know, maybe it's a prop. Let me say a prop, or it's smaller than you saw on the platform, or the color, is dirty. It's a whole lot. Yeah, customers cannot try. They cannot try the thing. They cannot look at it and say, oh, this is the actual size. So they cannot try before buying. It's a serious disadvantage. It's a reason I don't usually buy online. Now the third thing is, e-commerce is highly competitive. It is highly competitive. As I said earlier, if I come to buy something from you and I see that what you are giving me is not good, or it's not quality, or it's too expensive, I just go and look for another place. That's the thing. It's too competitive, so you cannot afford to mess up. You cannot afford to mess up. So you have to always be, on your toes. It's a disadvantage. It's a disadvantage because the buyer has a lot of options, and the buyer can just leave and go and look for another place. And then at times, customers can be impatient. They can be impatient in terms of maybe like, how do I say it? In terms of maybe shipping and things. In terms of shipping, and in terms of reaching to customer care representatives to like ask for advice and things, they can be impatient. So if your site is also complicated, it's not a good thing. You have to always make your site very simple. But even if your site is simple, at times customers can be impatient. They see something, maybe the site is taking long to load and things, they just go away because it's a lot of people are using it. Yeah, so it's taking quite some time to load, so they go away. So another disadvantage is customers can be impatient. The last disadvantage I'll give for this one is shipping times can be lengthy. Shipping times can be very, very, very lengthy. I bought something off AliExpress, and then it took. No, they have good. Their customer service is extremely good, but it took quite a time before I got my product. It took about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or 3 weeks. It took about 3 weeks before I got what I ordered. So you see, if you, it's sometimes you need a thing very urgent. So some people prefer to go to the town and then get what they want instead of like buying, and then shipping will take like a very long time, or delivery will take a very long time before it will come. So that's all about the advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. The next thing we are going to do is just explain how the web can be used to reach customers. That one I'm not going to write anything about it because it's going to be a lot, or I'll just give some points. So the web can be used to reach customers in the sense that, like, you see, when you are doing a business, it's way better to keep your customers and always be looking for new customers. It's cheaper to always keep your customers than be always looking for new customers. So what can you do to keep your customers? What you can do to keep your customers is to create good user experience, to think visually, provide good UI UX design. Let your site be very, very attractive. Always upgrade. Give them better customer service. Make the operating your platform very, very easy. So you go here, you click here. Okay, I'm buying. Okay, I'm inputting my details. Done. I'm done buying. Spend less time. Like when a buyer wants to buy something, let them spend like a maximum of 5 seconds to buy the thing. In terms of like clicking the buttons and things, it should be very, 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 very easy, so that they'll be more convenient. I'm sorry, they'll be more familiar with your site, and they'll know that, oh, okay, this place, if I go there, to literally take me seconds to buy something, so I wouldn't have a problem. I'll always be going there. Keep it updated. Keep it updated. When you have new content, post it so that anyone who wants something, when the person comes, anytime the person comes, the person finds what they want. So even if the person wants to buy something, the person is not really sure if you have it or not. The person also come and check. if you have it before going to other places. So all these things are, minor things you do to keep your customers. So with this question, this type of question, just be practical. Be practical. Ask yourself the things you can do to keep customers at your website, the things you can do to get more customers, and just write it for him. Now the next thing we talk about, I already spoke about it in the live, but I summarized it again because I realized it was quite not, it wasn't, convincing. It's VoIP. The way I explained it wasn't really, it was too long. Let me say it like that. So I just came up with a very short version. So VoIP. So the meaning of VoIP is voice over internet protocol. I'm not going to spend much time about it. I'm just going to state the things you need to know about it. So you can make and receive phone calls from your computer, iPhone, or VoIP set. I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to give you the point. What's the next thing you can also do? Next thing, that's like, when you read all these things, it will make sense. The VoIP app, if you are using the VoIP, there's an app you have to like use, or there's a software you have to get on your hardware before you can use it. So the VoIP app will convert the analog sound wave into digital sound wave. It's very simple. The analog sound wave, because you'll be talking. So most of our phones use analog. So that's like the olden times. Uses analog. So the VoIP app will convert the analog sound waves into digital sound waves. Then the next thing is your internet provider. Now it's digital, so it will be sent to your internet provider. So if you are using MTN or Tigo or something, to be sent to MTN or Tigo, it will be sent to what you are using. So it will be sent to your internet provider, right? So your internet provider will send, after it has been sent to your internet provider will send a digital voice notes, the digital voice signal, to the VoIP voice over IP service. You see, it's very simple. So your internet provider gets the digital sound waves. They will send the digital sound wave to VoIP service, so that like they can be used to they can be like sent to the right places. Now let me just state, I think there's one more. The call reaches a VoIP service provider's server, which then routes it on. The call the VoIP service provider provider's server. It gets to their server. And the next thing is that it's routed using the SIP protocol. I'm putting the SIP so that we don't forget. It stands for Session Initiation Protocol. And then the last thing, finally, the digital wave is received by the customer and heard as an audio sound wave. So it's very simple. The digital and heard as a sound. So simple. Now, what are the advantages of using VoIP? Advantages. I'm sorry, I don't know what is happening to me. I'm a bit nervous. Advantages of VoIP. So the first advantage I'll say is that there is lower monthly cost. So instead of you buying airtime to make calls, you rather be buying data. Data is cheaper. You get it? So there's lower monthly costs. If you can buy data monthly, it'll be very cheaper than buying huge sums of airtime just to be making calls and things. And then it has advanced business phone features. It has advanced business phone features in the sense that you can market your products like whilst the call is waiting or whilst the person is waiting for you to pick up the phone. Advanced business phone features. Yeah, it's very simple. Another thing is it has improved scalability and flexibility. In this one, what it's trying to say is that assuming you want to like scale up or you want to like build more branches, it's very simple. You just buy more, you just buy their service, let them know they give you more services, and then you buy more features which can route your calls to all these branches. So it's very simple. Scalability is not really a problem in terms of VoIP. So if you are using VoIP and voice over internet protocol and you are trying to scale up, it's not an issue at all. Scalability and flexibility. You can easily move. If you are going somewhere, just pick up your phone, your VoIP phone or VoIP set and go. Instead of like when you are using telephone, you have to remove the telephone wires and go and configure them again into the ports and things. Nah, easy. It's very simple. Now the last advantage is you can take call from anywhere. You don't have to be in your office to take calls because your telephone is in your office. You don't have to like always be in your office before you can take calls. So you can be anywhere and just take calls. It's very simple. Now let's talk about the disadvantages, and that will be the end of the video. So I have just two disadvantages of VoIP. So the first disadvantage is you need good internet connection to make calls. So because of the bandwidth and things and quality of sound. And then the last thing is you have to account for power outages, because when there's no power, it means there's no internet, and it means you cannot work. So you have to either buy something to take off that, or you have to like look for an alternative solution, or you run at a loss in your business. So you have to account for power outages. And that brings us to the end of the video. Yeah, so if you have gone through all of this, you are probably if you have gone through all of this and you are comfortable, then you are probably on your way to like A plus. No, I wouldn't say A plus because I cannot really tell. There are other things which I would ask in the group if people have a problem with it, and I might make a video about it and drop it before the paper. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of the video. If you are new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and leave a like to make me feel good. I'm trying. I'm just trying. Alright, so enjoy your day and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.